Live from Batavia, New York, it's Elmira Pioneers baseball as tonight the Pioneers travel to take on the Batavia Muckdogs. Good evening, everybody, for Pioneers pregame live on the Elmira Pioneers Baseball Network. I'm Farrell Hudson. We'll have all your pregame and live coverage tonight as the Pioneers take on the Muckdogs for the fourth time this season. And as a result, let's go back and take a look at the opening three matchups. You go back to May 31st, first road game of the season for your Elmira Pioneers, and the home opener for the Batavia Muckdogs didn't necessarily fare too well for the visitors. Elmira dropping that ball game 13-1 in 7 innings, so certainly not their favorite game of the year. And then you move 2 weeks later off an originally scheduled game that was supposed to be slated for Friday, June 6th, and what was going to be a good night at home for the Pioneers as they had come off 3 straight losses to open up the season. And then you look at that second game against Newark at home. They had led 3-1. You had all that mayhem in the opening couple weeks, so the Pioneers played a doubleheader, 7 innings, 2 games against Batavia back on Friday, June 13th, and it started with a 3-1 victory in Game 1 of that doubleheader. Owen Hoyt got the start on the bump for the Pioneers, and he was really solid in his debut game. 6 strong innings of work, only 1 walk, 1 hit, an earned run, and 6 strikeouts in that process. Pioneers won 3-1 in what was the 100th managerial victory at the helm for Andy Drum as manager of the Elmira Pioneers in his 5th season, rolling along nicely so far, an 11-8 start. A little bit of adversity for the Pioneers, obviously so, on a 3-game losing skid right now. And then you turn to the second game of that night against the Muckdogs, a 15-8 loss. Pioneers ended up walking 15 batters. Brendan Hayes got the start, and the bullpen didn't necessarily have their favorite outing either. This has all the heightened anticipation of a rivalry as usual. You understand the implications when you take on the Batavia Muckdogs. Pioneers obviously coming in here right now on a bit of a skid, and you have the Muckdogs rolling nicely at 12-8. You know what this could come down to? It could come down to the PGCBL West Division Championship once again. The Pioneers last year took on the Muckdogs here. We're down 2-0 heading to the 4th inning. Rain started pelting down. The game was moved from that day to the next day. The Pioneers came back and won 6-3 on the road, shocking the Batavia crowd here. So certainly exciting times for the Pioneers that they've had on this field, but for Elmira last night they took home a 6-3 loss at the hands of the Geneva Red Wings, a game in which was very competitive from the beginning. Pioneers did get down 3-0. Brendan Hayes got the start for Elmira, went 4 3rd innings of work, giving up 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, with 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. The issue for the Pioneers in the early going of the ball game is they only scraped across 1 run in the opening 3 innings against Geneva's starter Elijah Benton, who fared well in a spot start. It was Benton's first start of the season against the Elmira Pioneers. He went 3 2/3 innings of work with 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 6 walks, and a strikeout. So the self-inflicted wounds for the starter Benton were more crippling than the Pioneers hitting him, because Benton came into last night's ball game pitching to a 194 opposing batting average. Pioneers with a 269 batting average on the season, a little below league average right now. So not really too much of a concern to the coaching staff, as Andy Drum has alluded to on a litany of previous occasions. He said, listen, I don't have a problem if we're not striking out. We're putting the balls in play. I'm inserting a different lineup combination in every single night. These guys have to react and respond and adjust to that, and I think they're doing so well, especially considering the implications of the 0-3 start. You knew another skid was going to come. Hey, even a 46-game season is a bit of a long season. Even in short summer baseball, you look at about 40 games across 3 months in the collegiate baseball season, and now you're asking guys to play about 49 games through 63 days. Each team has their own set of challenges and elements presented to them. So the Pioneers were down 3-1. They tied the ball game up 3-3 last night. Brendan Hayes came back out for the top of the 5th inning, and he got touched up for a couple of Geneva hits, got taken out of the game. Casey Julkowski, or check that, Garrett Rochon came in relief first. Pitched 2 2/3 innings of work, and Rochon was brilliant. He had life on that fastball. Only a hit allowed, no runs, no earned, while walking 2 and striking out 3. The good job done by the Pioneers last night is the control game. You saw it from Garrett Rochon, and you saw it also from Casey Julkowski, who's been absolute money so far this season for your Elmira Pioneers. Julkowski pitching really nicely in relief, and he's one of the younger pitchers on that staff, but holding up really nice with a 3.72 ERA. 2-0, 6 appearances. He's been an absolute bulldozer out of the bullpen. 9 2/3 innings of work, 9 hits, 5 runs on 4 earned with 3 walks and 5 strikeouts, pitching to an opposing batting average of 243. And we mentioned Garrett Rochon pitching to a 167 batting average, leading the Pioneers in innings with 18.1. That's for both a reliever and a starter. He's made 5 appearances, 3 starting on the mound, pitching to a 3.44 ERA. They'll turn the ball over, the Pioneers will, to Michael Geisler, who gets the start tonight. A 3.21 ERA for Geisler out of Northern Essex Community College. 53 strikeouts and 41 innings of work at NECC this spring. 3 appearances, 3 starts, 14 innings of work, 11 hits, 6 earned runs, 7 walks, and 14 strikeouts, pitching to an opposing batting average of 216 across 51 batters faced in 2025. Geisler's been money so far. The rest of the summer, unpredictable in terms of how many innings he's going to throw more due to different inning limits and different deals like that so far. So that remains to be seen, but right now what we do know is the Pioneers have to come in and get a victory. The road has not necessarily been the greatest strength of the Elmira Pioneers. They're 11-8 overall, but you're looking at about 70% of their victories coming at Dunfield. Pios playing really well at home. They're 8-4, but on the road they haven't done so well, 3-4. They're 0-1 here in Batavia. Their real kryptonite has been going 0-2 in Auburn and 1-1 in Jamestown. So still a lot more road games on the horizon. This is the beginning of a 4-game road trip for the Pioneers. They start in Batavia tonight, play a doubleheader at Sal Magley Stadium in Niagara Falls, New York tomorrow against the Niagara Falls Americans, a team in which the Pioneers staved off nicely 2 weeks ago, a 4-2 victory back at Dunfield. And then you have 2 off days sandwiched in between Monday and Tuesday, and then you head to Wednesday where you take on the Auburn Double Days. I alluded to Michael Geisler getting the start earlier today. I had the opportunity to catch up with him in pregame availability.
I'm pleased to be joined on Pioneers Pregame Live by the starting pitcher for your Pios and Michael Geisler. Mike, a fantastic start to you this season. What's been working so well?
I think the biggest thing right now has just been making sure I have that confidence to go as many innings as Drum needs me to, and just attacking the strike zone. I think that's just a big thing that's, helped me out compared to now and then my college season, so, yeah.
What's the level of comfortability returning for a second season with the Elmira Pioneers?
Yeah, I think the gain of trust I have here helps me with confidence. Like, I trust, obviously the coaches, I trust, the guys behind me, and I trust the pitchers coming in after me out of the pen, so I think that's just really helping me be comfortable as that form of trust.
Has there been a switch in routine between your collegiate season and this summer or last summer as opposed to now?
No, not really. I don't take, the pregame warm-ups too serious because I believe anything I do, I'm capable of going out there and performing well because out of the pen in college, towards the end of the season, I'd throw 5 balls and just go out and be fine. And so you got to kind of train your mind to be able to go out in any circumstance.
You mentioned being loose and warming up just a few short minutes before the game. Do you attribute that to being more of a mental game pitching than physical?
Yeah. Baseball's such a mental game. So I'm always just trying to be mentally prepared for all that.
53 strikeouts this season across 41 innings at Northern Essex Community College. What was working so well in terms of the life on your stuff?
I think just trusting my ability. I think at the end of the day, I just got to know what I can do and what I control. I think that's really helped me. I feel like I've always had powering stuff, and I just use it to my advantage.
Tonight you face the Batavia Muckdogs lineup that is really solid. What are you going to look to do in order to get them out?
Just play my game. I always think to myself, I'm just a stronger opponent. When I'm out on the mound, I think I'm just a mental warrior. And I'm just always mentally stronger than my opponents. So
awesome, Mike. Thanks for your time.
So Mike Geisler keeping it simple, and that's always a good motto and mindset to have. Geisler keeping his stuff as his bread and butter so far this season. He's had 14 strikeouts across 14 innings. We mentioned how well he's playing, and also Eric Burkan had a couple thoughts on Michael Geisler and the entire Elmira Pioneers as well. Here's Burkan in his pregame availability earlier.
I'm pleased to be joined on Pioneers Pregame Live by assistant coach for your Elmira Pioneers and Eric Burkan. And coach, getting started right away, overall thoughts on last night's 6-3 home defeat?
For the most part, I think The pitchers did their job. Some unfortunate things happening. The big thing, just scoring early and just putting those guys away early, so what happened last night doesn't happen again.
In your eyes, overall thoughts on the scuffle that occurred in the top of the 8th inning yesterday?
Just unfortunate. You never want anything like that to happen. And I think we handled it well. Guys stuck up for each other, and I think that's the biggest thing. Just shows the brotherhood we have here in Elmira.
For the most part, in terms of throwing strikes, another solid performance for Brendan Hayes. Despite giving up a couple earned runs, 6 strikeouts through 4 1/3, what was working so well for him?
Oh yeah, Brendan, he's got some good off-speed stuff. I think landing the slider early and then using his fastball in late counts can really help him in the later innings and late counts. So overall, I think he did really good. Just got to work on his composure, his body language. I think that's a big thing that we've been working on with him, and I think going forward, he'll be better at that.
As a whole, how satisfied were you with the plate approaches last night, especially down in counts and still battling late in the game?
Yeah, it definitely showed heart. I think that's one word to describe this team. We have heart, and we're just going to keep battling. I think overall our plate discipline, just get in early, get the guys in early.
Garrett Rochon was fantastic in relief. What about his stuff that made it such an uncomfortable at-bat for Geneva?
Garrett, last year he did really good for us, and, this year I think his velo's up, so that's helping, and I think his changeup is really good.
As we turn to tonight's ball game, what's going to have to change in order to snap this 3-game winless skid?
I think we just got to come out with some intensity, and we just stick to our approach. Got to get jobs done, and we just got to do the things that aren't always pretty.
I know that this is a game of highs and lows, but do you tend to notice a higher level of intensity interjected into the life of your ball club as you travel to Batavia for the second time this season?
Every time we come to Batavia, I feel like we light the foot early, and we just want to step on the gas and score a bunch of runs. And, the rivalry's there. It's been there ever since I've been here. So, obviously, this game is a must-win just to switch the momentum for the rest of the season. But I think with the lineup we got tonight, I think we're going to be good.
Offensively, the Muckdogs are comparable to the Auburn Doubledays in terms of their batting average and on-base percentage. What does your staff need to do tonight against some very tough outs in the lineup?
Get ahead early and then limit the freebies. I think getting the leadoff guy out also is really huge. I think Geisler, he's going to do his thing, and hopefully we can just turn it over to the next guy and just compete for the next guy to go out and say, all right, he threw up a 0, so I'm going to throw up a 0.
What's the kind of energy mentally and physically that Michael Geisler brings to the mound in his starts?
Mikey, he's a great guy. He's a little bit of a nut job, but you got to have those guys in your staff. And I think overall Mike's just going to pound the zone. He's going to throw hard, and he's going to throw some nasty stuff, so get ready for that, Batavia.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Anytime.
Bold statement right there from Eric Burkan to conclude. He said, get ready for that, Batavia. He's got all the confidence in the world right now Michael Geisler as he makes the start tonight for your Elmira Pioneers. Let's take a quick look at the 2025 Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League standings as we head into tonight's game. In the East Division, it's the Amsterdam Mohawks, 15-6 in first place. They've won 2 in a row, 5-5 in their last 10 ball games. The Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs at 12-7, 2 games back of Amsterdam, 2 wins in a row for them, 7 in their last 10. Boonville in third place at 11-7, 2.5 back, 2 wins in a row and 6 in their last 10. Saugerties in fourth, rounding out the final playoff spot in the East, 10-8, 3.5 back, losing 2 in a row, 6 out of their last 10. Utica at 7-9 in fifth. Glens Falls at 7-12 in sixth. 1-9 in their last 10 are the Oneonta Outlaws. They've lost 5 in a row, 11 games back of first place Amsterdam. They're 3-16 in the West Division. The Niagara Falls Americans have won 7 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10. They had a brief 3-game losing skid, which got them to 7-6 through 13 ball games. Pioneers were 8-5, a game ahead of them, and now they've taken off. Elmira trails Niagara by 2.5 games. The Auburn Doubledays at 13-6, just a half game out on the outside looking in. Pioneers with a chance tonight to possibly get into that third place spot should they defeat Batavia, who's ahead of them by 1 game right now. Batavia 2 games back of first place Niagara Falls. They've lost 1 in a row, 6-4 in their last 10. Pioneers have lost 3 in a row, 2.5 back, and 6-4 in their last 10. Just slightly ahead of the Newark Pilots in 5th place at 9-7-1. Jamestown's been up and down. They've lost 1, 5 in their last 10. 4 games back at 10-10. Geneva at 5-15, and Niagara at 2-16. Let's take a look tonight at your Elmira Pioneers starting lineup as we get you set for tonight's ball game. Out of Andy Drum's 11-8 Elmira Pioneers, it's going to be Aiden Grabowski, the shortstop, leading things off. Grabowski in last night's ball game was 1 for 4, had a single in the bottom of the third inning. TJ Gramesti, who is in center field, he'll be behind the plate tonight, batting second. Gramesti last night still reached base twice, 1 for 3, an infield single in the bottom of the fifth. Anthony Manganiello is in right field, grounded into a double play last night, flew out to center and struck out. 0 for 3 night for him, but he did walk in the bottom of the first. He'll bat third. Cooper Smith begins the middle of the order for the Pios. He'll play right field, then bat fourth. John Simmons at third base will bat fifth. Ty Martineau is the DH. He'll bat sixth. Brooks Hicken is at first base. He'll bat seventh. Brendan Hammer at second base. He'll bat eighth. This is Hammer's second start at the second base position. Liam O'Neill is the extra hitter tonight. He'll bat ninth, and rounding out the batting order for the Pioneers is Dylan Fatovich. That'll do it for our brief edition of Pioneers Pregame Live, but be sure to stay here on the Elmira Pioneers Baseball Network, as coming up in just about 15 minutes at the bottom of the hour, we'll have first pitch, all your live coverage between the Elmira Pioneers and the Batavia Muckdogs. For now,